Hi and welcome to the 64 Doors. Today we're going to open door 33. Here we find the medicine woman, and she's all about revelation, ceremony, and integration. We're going to explore this archetype from a human design perspective and a Jinki perspective. So here we have the Rave Mandala with a body graph in the middle. So this is the human design, and right now we have the sun in Leo in gate 33, we have the Earth in Aquarius in gate 19, and the design part of the cross is the 44 in Scorpio and the 24 in Taurus. In human design, this is a cross of the 4 ways. There are 3 different crosses where we have the 33 in the sun. So that's the cross of the 4 ways, the cross of retreat, and the cross of refinement. You can see that in the first cross, we have the 33 and the 19, and the design part of the cross is the 44 and the 24. And in the other 2 crosses, we have the 2 and the 1. And I always say, make your gene key profile and read about your activation sequence to really have a longer explanation of the crossword activation sequence than here. For example, when I read the cross of refinement here, it's all about privacy and needing your own space. And for me, really, if I look at the 33, that for me is about revelation and the medicine woman. The 19, that is the uterian, it's all about the earth, that's all about sensitivity. And then the 2, that's the prime yin, it's all about orientation and embrace. And the 1, which is the prime yang, and it's all about creativity, it's all about the spark. For me, this cross of refinement is really one of the most interesting crosses in the whole Rave Mandala. So the way that is written about here, for me, it's very narrow. I would say go to the Gene Key website, read that whole page that has 1 paragraph of each gene key. And even better, why don't you read each chapter in the Gene Key book? And there are, of course also books and places online where you can read more about the gates, so that you will read about gate 33, 19, 2, and 1. So that's something to not narrow down, because the cross is really your destiny. So you don't want to narrow down your destiny. You kind of want to see the whole potential of your destiny. So that's important. When we go back and look at the body graph, we see that the 33 comes from the throat center and points towards the G center and meets the 13, which we have already done this year in the transits. This was the confidant. And if we go to the circuitry book, we see that this is a channel of the prodigal, a design of the witness. The reference theme is every cycle of experience in your life will make sense in the end. This is what you are here to learn over and over again. The deeper you experience this insight, the more patient and relaxed you will become with the way things are going in the now. And looking at just the 33, it says the gate of privacy or retreat, people who need regular time alone in order to reflect on the past. Here, I really actually like the way that Richard speaks about the 33 in the quote from the 64 Ways, where he says, this gift can turn the whole of your life into a blaze of presence and peacefulness. Retreat does not have to be something we do after we've been in action. The retreat can be the action itself. This is a gift from heaven. So you see, like in one way, we can look at retreat really as something we need to retreat. We need to go away. But can you have that gift of presence in your life, in like everything you do, basically? And that's kind of when life becomes ceremony as well. This week, we have actually already opened the door. So this is what we chose in the 64 doors for the medicine woman. I love this probably more than any other archetype so far. Although I don't even have the 33 in my profile, I do have I do have the 13, which is the harmonic gate. And here we can go to the keywords. So revelation, wisdom keeper, ceremony, and integration. And the biology is the larynx, or actually the thyroid. So here it's interesting because this whole week I've been feeling my own thyroid. I did a bioscan and my thyroid came up. I've been speaking to many of my friends that like feeling some symptoms. I used to have a quite serious condition with my thyroid, and then this week is kind of brought up again. I've been rereading a couple of books, and then I go to the living library and I saw, wow, it's a thyroid. This makes sense. And of course it comes from the throat center, and it is about expression and retreat. And that's exactly what the thyroid needs. It needs to have a balance between action and rest. And internal motivator, sharing the Akashic records. This is kind of like there can be more things than that, but it's really sharing wisdom without pointing fingers. It's how I would express it or explain it. And then infinite capacity to remember. And she has the unique medicine. Like, she's not pointing fingers. She does it in kind of in a ceremonial way, so that everybody learns their own, what they are ready to learn, you could say. And then needs to retreat to not burn out. And you can read more in the Gene Key book, but here you have a little bit of the repressive and the reactive if you want to see what is the shadow frequency of this very Gene Key or gate. And let's see, let's go to, so you see victim and memories, reserved and sensuous. So these are, that's the red frequency, the shadow frequency. If you want to see how this archetype, or the shadow of this archetype, how it plays out, it's going to have one reactive pattern, one repressive pattern. And if you have the 33, probably you can see this in you. And in the astrological way, the way we saw it in the beginning with the Rave Mandala, you will see that the 33 and the 19 are opposite. There's tension between them. They are paired. If we look at the actual hexagram, they're going to be mirror opposites. So here, when we are in the low frequency, so the red, the green, and the blue are all different frequencies on a frequency band, from very contracted and fear-based in the shadow frequency to very open and expanded in the green and the blue frequencies. But as human beings, we have access to that whole range of frequencies. So here you can see how forgetting what's important, why we're here, well, what love is, what Gaia is, when we forget all that, it's like we often can go into patterns of being dependent on different things, because we don't feel this true kind of anchor, this true inner knowing or strength. So they are together. If we look at them, here you will see codependence, forgetting, that's the lower frequency, and then sensitivity and mindfulness, and revelation and sacrifice. These are the programming partners. What I also really like about this hexagram is it's the I-Ching. So here, attaining in the insight of heaven through the stillness of body and mind. And here you see it's mountain, and then it's heaven. So heaven over mountain. So the way that it's built up, whether we look at the shadow, the gift, or the city, is that we have all these words for heaven over all these words for mountain. So the low frequency is forgetting is the entropy of stress, right? And isn't this the pandemic or like, isn't this what's happening so much in society? It's that's kind of where we're running around, which is also connected to the codon ring of trials, which is the 33, the 56, and the 12th. So we have this forgetting, we have the distraction in the 56, and we have the vanity in the 12th, or the not being able to discriminate or come from a pure heart. So really, when we are kind of stuck in the lower frequency of this codon ring of trial, that's what we are feeling, the entropy of stress. That's really what it is about. And then the higher frequency is the mindfulness, is the freshness of restraint. So it's this knowing again the balance, not doing too much, being able to retreat and come back again, that restraint, being mindful of how much output and how much input. And then the highest frequency, revelation, is the beauty of stillness. And that's, of course, super, super beautiful. We have astrology, so Leo. We are really now in a lot of leadership gates. This is maybe the one that is not so clear as leadership, but I feel like this kind of leadership that the medicine one comes with, more and more we're coming back to that. We're realizing that this kind of leadership is really the feminine, true kind of leadership that is orienting us to our own truth. Because this gate we had the 31 last week, which is more kind of it's a collective leadership gate. So it's more clear in that sense. And this is more abstract, because it's the other side of the body graph, right? And then after this, we have the 7th, which is the identity, like the alpha, that kind of leadership, which is also the harmonic gate to the 31. But here we have Leo, we have leadership. It says, illuminated leader, courageous creator, and it's about courage and creation, service to self-growth through the will of intuition and manifestation. And here we would say it's like this kind of 5th house energy of self-actualization. But it's really how I see the Leo energy is that leadership always starts with self-leadership. So this is the 33 as well, the medicine woman. How many years, how many generations maybe did it take her to master the medicine in order to be able to give it to others? So we have this really like the self-leadership comes first, and then we can share from that place. Integral human design. So here's the same channel we were looking at before, the channel of the witness. So here's the channel of evaluation, and the low frequency, it's misery. And that makes sense, because if we have the forgetting in the 33 and we have discord or pessimism in the 13, of course that's that's misery, right? And then discernment in the 13 together with mindfulness in the 33, that makes for evaluation. When we have the discernment, when we have the mindfulness, we have the time to know whether something is true or not true. And I mean, this is also something that's so activated right now for us in society. There's so much information out there, so much fear-based information as well when it comes to virus and vaccine and all the things that are kind of being uncovered. And part of these things, of course, might be conspiracy theories, and some of it is the truth that is unveiled. So do you have like turned on that discernment? Do you have turned on that mindfulness so that you can evaluate for you from that empowered place of being Leo if something is true or not true, right? So important, very important right now, how these Leo gates are asking us to step up to our own discernment and leadership. The dream arc is what I always love to do. So this is actually also, it has opened because we are already in the transit. So here we have Jane Addams' vlog, where she's painting the 3 frequencies, the underworld and they're called the underworld, the animal, and the bird, right? Life key and vision key. So here we have these 3 different levels that she's painting for each of the, oh, this is the 19. Where do we have the 33? Let's see. So here it is. So this is the 33. The other one, I was seeing that the words weren't matching. So this is the 33. And the one we just saw before is the 19. So they are programming partner. That's why you can see them together. And maybe that's also some kind of beautiful storyline that can be made between those 6 animals if you if you want to use your creativity for that. So let's see, is there anything else? And then there's also the mudra that you can buy the whole library if you want. And this is a really good week to tune into your own inner medicine woman and to discern what is that medicine for you, what is the medicine you're using, or what's the medicine that you need. When we were channeling with Simone for the soul conversations, we saw the 33 as the chalice. So kind of that container, that form that embraces it all. So here you can also look at, what are you holding in your life? What are you maybe not able to hold? We have the 33 and the 19 that both have to do with Gaia. So the earth, your relationship to nature, also your relationship to your own nature, to your own body. How is that relationship? Do you know how to nurture yourself? Do you listen to your body? That maybe that's the 13 as well, the programming partner that's coming in and ask you, are you listening to your body? Are you listening with pessimism or with optimism? The 19 can also come in and ask about the relationships and certain codependencies, when you're kind of forgetting who you are and why you're here and where you're going. Then that can often happen in relationships. So it is a beautiful week to tune into a little bit more of those abstract parts of leadership, the mystical leadership that isn't so logical as when we are looking at the 31 and the 7. So I'm wishing you all a beautiful week, and I'll see you next transit.